So just to do a quick recap, we've identified that it's going to be important for us to go back and speak with previous customers and talk about their overall satisfaction, which could also be understood as the Net Promoter Score, where it's like, hey, how likely are you to recommend this to someone else? 0 to 5 or 0 to 10?
And what would you have liked to receive in return for the business you've given us?
Yeah.
Once we know that, we double up on that.
Yeah. And we have some customers that did report that they were unhappy or they felt like they didn't get what they had signed up for.
So that's expectation versus satisfaction.
Yeah. So expectation versus satisfaction. All right, so what's up, I'm back. This is another daily sales update that weDISCOVR. Shout out to John if you're watching this. Accompanied today by Patrick also, who is our sales enablement expert using technologies of today such as AI to essentially help companies like ours be able to actually achieve its goals with sales and customer success. And so we're doing a CRM workshop that's for a campaign we have called Gift Run. If you remember, Gift Run is all about being able to do 24 pop-up events across Berlin with 12 cultural ambassadors across different disciplines. So that could be music, wellness, comedy. That's still to be determined. But the whole goal is to activate our different user types within our app. So the goal is to have an MVP version of our app that essentially is going to solve a really painful problem, hopefully for each one of these users, but most importantly for the brands and the ambassadors. And right now we're just talking through how we can actually, in the most simplified way, solve what we've identified might be the most painful problem for a brand. I expressed it to Patrick as traceability on, or let's just say ROI. So if a brand invests money into an experience or an event, they don't really have traceability on real outcomes.
Yes. So then the question I would have then is, what is the brand paying for? What are they buying?
Yeah, I would say that fundamentally a brand is paying for peace of mind that if they put in €1, then they get €2 back. Because no one wants to spend €1 just to get €1 back.
But let's take it back to peace of mind, right? How do you prove peace of mind if we were to get on a quarterly report, right?
Yeah, so just from my experience, peace of mind for investing in experiences looks like knowing how many people at an event not just saw their brand or product, but actually interacted with it. The way that so you have to have proof, right? And the proof point for that can be things like at the setting up a product booth, and then everyone at the product booth can do a quick survey on an iPad or scan a QR code on their phone. We've also tried other things like actual video testimonials, like people can sample the product in real time and say, what do you think about it? So that's kind of like even another service, that's R&D. Well, it's not necessarily research and development, but it's like market analysis. Companies pay a lot of money to do like product testing.
But do you have that enablement in the app?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Oh, here it is. Brands spend millions on experiential marketing, yet they capture almost none of the behavioral data that makes those moments valuable. While creators and venues lack the infrastructure to monetize the trust they've built with their communities, the problem we are solving.
Yeah, so you were asking, like within our app, how do we actually solve the conversion issue? So it's why we have a built-in e-commerce. So the touch point sets an event through our app for, let's say, the Explorer user type, which is just an event attendee. Looks like doing what's called an AR scavenger hunt. We have a very simplified version all the way up to a complex version of this. The most simple version is you scan the QR code, and that QR code gives you instructions. It's 3 steps. Step 1, go to the bar, point your camera, and it shows you if the brand is Coca-Cola, then you'll see a floating Coca-Cola image. And these are assets that the brand just uploads in their app experience. Step 2, go to the DJ booth, snap a photo. Step 3, go to the product booth, show them this QR code. And then when you do that, you get your free product. So now the brand will see, okay, a specific user has opted in to receiving communication from us, because that's the value exchange, right? We're going to give you a free product. So that also solves other things like making it GDPR compliant, which is super important here in Europe. They know who like how many of those products they gave away to people. And then now, once they finish the scavenger hunt and they got their actual product, there's also a brand store, kind of like TikTok shop, that lives within our app. And so the hypothesis that we're testing is that even after events, the brands can still sell things to the event attendees.
Let's make this, let's zoom it into one product, right?
Yeah.
So writing on this, opening up a free thing, free gift, and it's really amazing that you say it this way. So let's say we go to an event, and they say we get the user to download the app in order for them to join the scavenger hunt, which means that they will be able to find free products. Let's say the event is sponsored by an beverage brand.
Let's use one we've worked with before. What, like, I don't know. What was it? Seco? Or Berlo or whatever.
I would. Let's just go with what's this Jägermeister.
Yeah, so Jaeger.
Because we wanted to do the Jägermeister thing with what are these people? Choose, right?
Mm-hmm. Which they did give us product.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? The idea here, right? At least that's what I'm understanding, is that beyond sponsorship, brands and sponsorship, beyond free product, what does the brand get in return? Again, back to the problem you're solving. You've given us 1,000 free shots, but you're not able to track brand interactions. There is user-generated content that you spoke about. There is data that we can track in terms of attribution, acquisition, user journey, and ultimately to conversion. That person being a repeat customer because of that experience, or they buy now this and so on. Depending on what that experience is, right? What Discover does then is for the brand to be able to say, this person has either interacted with this product for the first time at this event, and ever since then, here's their conversion using CRM. Jägermeister can track their behavior and so on and so on and so on, which is essentially what Jägermeister would have to be paying for.
So then, if I understand you correctly, Jaeger would be paying for a solution to solve their pain that they don't know what conversion is.
Yes, you can never ever. It's really hard to determine that we gave away 2,000 or we gave away 500 bottles at this event, and based off of that, those people, maybe they say there were 200 people at that event. From that 250 are now clients of ours, so they buy or consume this thing. It's really hard to determine that because there's no technology to track that.
So then that's where I'm doing now. It's hundreds of events later.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it like a 5-year-old with naivety. Because I didn't know what this like sponsorship world was.
Right.
I was just like you, I'm an artist.
Right.
You know, wanting to just have a fucking cool experience for my community. And then I'm like, I'm looking, I'm like, whoa, this company just gave away 1,000 shots of alcohol. Right. And whether they care about the money they could make from it or not, maybe it's just a culture objective for them or whatever, they spent money. There's labor involved because they have a field rep come out.
Right.
They set up some type of displays or some branding on site, and they give away product. And for some reason, it was acceptable that the product didn't have any way to track if that turned into a paying customer. So they were paying for effectively what's called top of mind.
Pretty much exposure from traditional activation. I used to do this actually for Unilever. Mm-hmm. I would host activations at the mall, a shopping center.
Oh, yeah, I missed those. Okay, talk to me.
So for Unilever, there were one of my brands was Shield.
This
deodorants. Yeah,
I like it. It smells good.
Right. So in this experiential marketing agency I worked in, and I was a project manager for that. Then we would have 5 malls, across one city or whatever. We'd do an activation which had also sampling, which means people try this. We give away product. We actually even had budget for the immersion experience, meaning football and all other things that require people to be a part of that experience. And the only report that I could do in order to appease the brand manager would be, we have in fact done this. I've taken photos. Yeah. We have seen people at the ground, on the ground participating in our activation. We couldn't even capture data. Like people could, in fact, people wouldn't even write their name down.
Yeah, they'd be fake.
Yeah, they'd be like, nah, I just want to play. So with an app like this, with Discover, you would primarily be able to say, hey, do you want to take part in this immersive experience? Now this is at a small scale, it's an activation at a small scale. It's not a big event, it's at a mall. So it's like, hey, you want to take part in this Shield activation? Yeah, okay, cool. All you gotta do is scan the QR code, download the app. With the blinking, we already have the lead captured.
Yeah.
Right? You like the activation, forget the brand. We are not even at the brand level. Yep. You just like the experience, which is what. Okay. You don't even have to be a Shield user. Okay. You're a person who likes soccer. So the passion point in this case is that when we do an event, people come to the event for that event. The immersive experience.
Yeah, they don't. So this is where I see a paradigm shift happening.
Yeah.
Brands are now able to create their own events,
right,
their own immersions, where they are driving people who do love their product to an experience. And so then the campaign outcome is different. It might be strengthen the relationship with current customers,
right,
increase how much they're actually spending.
Right.
Now, that's a fascinating segment because then we have 2 possibilities with a brand where it's like, okay, we can give a brand the tools to strike up their own pop-up events, because I love the shopping mall thing. I used to do it when I worked in promotions for CBS Radio,
right,
which is owned by Clear Channel. It was my first job in the university. they would have us go and stand outside or at shopping malls or even at sporting events, like outside as people are going out. And our clients at the radio station were the brands.
Yes.
They would give us money to go out and
do promotions.
Yeah. And so,
but promotions are not trackable. Okay?
Right.
Like you could never say.
Well, we had these silly clipboards and people, but they would lie. They would give like a fake email address or the handwriting so bad. So probably at the end of the day, 30% of the data we collected was usable.
Unreliable data.
Unreliable data.
Yes, you cannot track it. It's not clean. You cannot even really reach out to these people, right? Half the time, people will come for the free thing and not give you the data. With deep linking and QR codes and even download the app, it's almost a guaranteed way to say you will be able to track user behavior after the event. That's where this whole MarTech situation is amazing right now. Because prior to that, we couldn't track that. You had to make people to fill out information that they could lie about, man.
Yeah.
Now you can track user behavior in-app push notifications, and actually you can attribute to this thing even. And one step further is that you can attract people who don't like the brand on the ground, but they like the experience. And then you have the opportunity for conversions, okay? This person was not using Shield or whatever product before, but through this immersive experience, they can try it.
Can I ask you a couple questions on this?
Yeah.
Because number one, I think it's really exciting that we could go to a multinational company that owns hundreds of thousands of brands and say, here's a solution you can use for these different categories. Right. What would you say for your Unilever campaign for Shield was the average spend per pop-up? Because you all have cost, right? You have human people, like payroll and stuff. What was it costing per event or like appearance?
So the pricing model is typical agency model, right? We've had this conversation before. I think I told you after the fact, but unfortunately we didn't land here. So now let's circle back to this. So Unilever, or I think Jägermeister belongs to a group, like one group of other small liquor brands. So it's a brand within a group of, right? So I think Unilever had about maybe $1 billion for marketing, which had PR, outdoor, right? We have PR, outdoor, and advertising, and so on and so on. I worked in both PR and experiential marketing. I managed influencers, social media, contracts and so on, and then later managed the experiential marketing aspect of it. And now we're talking simply of the experiential marketing side of it. Depending on whether you can prove return on investment or return on ad spend or whatever, that $1 billion that is allocated purely for that activity can be refunneled or rechanneled into whatever is working.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they pay for the thing that works. There's always money for marketing. FMCG products rely completely on marketing. With FMCG, they can never shut down marketing budgets or reduce marketing budgets because that's their lifeline. Products don't sell unless you constantly in front of people's faces. The idea of loyal customers is a fallacy. People can drop off as soon as you're not in their top of the mind. I use Shield or whatever product because it's repetitive, habitual behavior.
Yeah, it's an easy decision.
Yeah, when I go to the store, I buy the same thing that I always buy. So there's, in FMCG, huge budgets for that kind of thing. However, marketing or FMCG brands could not spend that much money in activations because they couldn't track what does this do for us. I couldn't report it, man.
So this then becomes game changing if we are able to give brands, companies the tools to say, we spent X on outdoor experiences,
Yeah.
and it got us this much return.
Yes.
Wow.
The only thing I could put in my reports after an event was foot traffic. Even that was not in our control, right? We activated the mall because we believe that it's busy. We activate for 3 days and get some promoters to be there, and those promoters have to at least capture the number of people that participated, right? And we are banking on the fact that Saturdays is a busy time, there should be some level of activation. But it all looks great on social media when there was a Shield activation and there seemed to have been a lot of engagement and so on. You can't prove it. You only take pictures.
Yes. So if we hone in on Gift Run campaign Berlin, and we look at this through the lens of, I like Jägermeister because we work with them and they're local.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jägermeister, it's not as if they're seeking market entry or penetration because they're already here.
Yeah.
But they support so many events still. So if we can assume we might know what their motivations are, which is to remain the leader at home,
right,
and also cultural alignment.
Right.
So if we start to think then about like, all right, we have this landing page for a brand. So then our messaging, like we should probably then like, okay, like let's drive our funnel. So top of funnel, we're going to talk about what are the ways that we get in front of Jaeger. We have some unfair advantages because we know people that are really close to them. And we also have already been supported by them with product and kind at events. So what we're trying to do now is, here's what while you were speaking, what I realized. Our opportunity is also going to be our challenge. We're having to essentially introduce a solution that brands didn't even know existed. So that first try on it is going to be like, this sounds too good to be true. So we need to figure out how do we de-risk this for them, right?
De-risk? No, it's going to be like, why didn't we think of that?
Yes, that's the feedback I got. But imagine then, so it's like, yes, we're saying the same thing, but journey with me for a second. De-risk looks like, hey Jaeger, how much are you currently spending on activations? Do you actually pay to sponsor events? And they might say, in different forms, because I have some insider knowledge, like they do gift products.
Mm-hmm.
They pay for series. They don't do one-offs anymore.
Right.
That was powerful insight that I gained through Kevin Thuronis' manager.
Right.
Because Kevin was how we got introduced to Jaeger and got Jaeger to sponsor events, okay? So they don't do one-offs, they do series. So if we can say then, all right, Jaeger, what do you spend usually aggregate on 10 series event? Well, okay, we'll just, let's say, hypothetically, it's, 1,000 per event. So 10,000 euros. So then what would de-risking it look like? De-risking it would look like, hey, for this first use of our solution, don't spend any more than you usually would, right? When you were just giving money away, not even being able to track conversion, okay? But in the event that we actually deliver on clear attribution of knowing who converted, then on the back end we get XYZ.
No, that's even way too far down the line, bro. So with the user journey, right? Already, what they are not getting is simply recorded interaction with the brand.
You said that's what they're usually not getting.
Yeah, that's all. That's already what they're not getting. The only proof they have is that they were present at the event. Okay, the only thing that most brands care about is visibility at events, and visibility does not mean conversions. That's not even. It's way far down the funnel to say attribution, right? They're not even having just recorded interaction in the sense of data that's captured. That's one. You just have somebody that's come into the channel, that's interacted with your thing. That is already captured. Forget whether we can attribute down the line whether they've bought due to the fact that we acquire the acquisition, user acquisition at the event. That's already first step. Like that's already enough at this point, right? Because they're not getting that. They're not getting any user acquisitions. They cannot prove it in fact.
That's been my argument to these brands. You're leaving money on the table.
Yeah.
Sponsorship marketing is broken.
Yes.
So we're saying the same thing. So de-risk looks like, hey, we're not asking you to give anything more than you already were given for these events. So then I think what I'm trying to say is on that first go around with our solution, since it is technically innovative, we're giving them something that they would say to themselves, damn, why didn't we think of this sooner?
Yeah.
So that the second time, then they pay the real value of it.
Right. Yes. Yes. The second time they have to spend serious money because from acquisition to conversion, that's an entire journey there because we can keep the users engaged, we can do push notifications, we can do personalization, you know, and then that essentially move the user down the funnel to conversion, where they convert into, and then we can even measure lifetime value.
Yeah.
Yeah. For now, they can't.
So, from my point of view, then, if we're looking at, so we're at the top of the funnel is like, how do we capture their attention? So we either have a warm intro, or it can be, they call it top of funnel content. So it could be like maybe you post a guide that's like 5 things you didn't consider about event marketing. I don't know. Maybe the whole like 5 top 10 things is a dead trend, but some type of like freebie that someone from, let's say, Jägermeister's event team would see. So we can say, those are called info products. So it's either a warm lead or an info product. So then that gets them into our first step of the funnel, or I guess that would be, so step 1 would be the actual first touch point, so warm intro info product. And then second step of the funnel would be landing page. Now here on the landing page, the messaging needs to be consistent. So that info product that you are, I'm not sure if it's you or Yaprak, but you all are working on, is this deck, right?
Yeah.
There's this presentation that's talking about our value proposition. I prefer using sales letter language that's just speaking this like us to that person. It's like you to you. It's like, hey man, you've been throwing as much as $50,000 at an event, holding your breath, hoping that you get a return you can justify to your CFO or to the marketing manager, whoever controls the budget.
Yeah.
You look at your competitors, it seems like they're getting success from these events, but actually they're just bullshitting.
Yeah.
They're trying, sometimes they get lucky and then they conflate that with it actually works, doesn't work. They just maybe got lucky. We've lived that as well with experiences like first Afro Wave party, smash success. We were able to deliver a lot of results back to Amazingly. That was us thinking that every event will go that way. But that's in turn like just looking at our model, not so much toward the actual brands that invested, like marketing them. So,
but that's a
yeah, go ahead.
That's a critical point right there. So this is the lesson here. So we know that events don't always go according to plan, right? So we mustn't even sell that bit. We must sell the idea that we know that events don't go according to plan. Not always. We know. Now this is what I was talking about.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
It could be bad weather, It could be.
Ooh, I like that story.
Yeah, we know, and that's what we lead with,
Yeah.
We know that events don't always go according to plan, We can say we're expecting, there's always a drop rate, man. If you've sold about 100 tickets, doesn't mean all the 100 people are gonna show up.
Even the ones that paid.
Even the ones that paid don't always show up, man.
Because the weather, it's like, you know what? If it's not painful enough that, like, if you didn't spend 100 euros or something and you spent 10, you're like, all right, I'm cool with like letting that 10 euros go.
Yeah, I still would not go, bro. I could be with my girlfriend and like, would you rather we order in?
You're competing with so many things.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a nice narrative.
Right.
Story events.
They don't always go according to plan, right? So that's not what we're sending you. That you'll have an amazing event. There will be 300 people there.
So do I hear you saying that then we are actually insurance? We're an insurance policy.
What we can guarantee you is that even if there were 5 people there, you will have data to communicate with those people after the fact.
Bingo.
Whoever was there, you will be able to talk to them after the fact. 100%. So the problem is, even if the event went 100% according to plan, you never walk away with any of the data of those 500 people. You don't communicate with them again until the next event. We give you access to those people even after the event. Probably, let's say people know, have discovered the event on Discover. You still have access to those people that may have not even attended the event, right? After the gift run, those people that would have downloaded the app or used the application or whatever, even if they didn't show up to the event, were able to say, hey man, the weather was not so good, we said to have not seen you at the event.
I love that. So this is hot. So then what I hear you saying is that our landing page, the story needs to evolve. People love stories, right? So if I'm thinking about at what point in someone's day is a marketing manager or an event producer from a brand reading this? Maybe they just had lunch and they've already read 10, 15 emails, had several meetings today. We need to give them something they haven't seen yet. So sales letter or an email sequence, whatever it is, should tell them a story. People love stories.
Right.
It could be like, yo dog, I was working with X brand, I'm not going to say their name because I don't want to embarrass them, but they spent $30,000 on an event or a trade show. And the crazy thing is that it rained.
Yeah.
And instead of 10,000 people showing up, there were only 2,000 people. And so now, the amount of people that came by the actual booth was far less. This brand unfortunately couldn't get their money back because
they cannot get
we still had the event.
Yes.
Has this ever happened to you? You then having to go back to your budget controller and tell them, ooh, X thing happened. It's just a sunk cost. It is what it is. We can write it off. What if I told you there's a better way?
Yes.
I feel like if we lead with that story, and we are really like doing empathetic human marketing where it's like people, before they can even trust us, like let's build some emotional currency with them. They're like, damn, they just told me a juicy story.
Yeah.
right?
Exactly, man. Because if this person didn't show up at the event, whatever it was raining, we can personalize the reach out and say, hey man, it was raining. I'm sure whatever. But next time you come to the Jägermeister event, if it rains, here's a free umbrella, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like some type of shit.
Yeah. So, check this out then. I want to look at this through the context of make.com. So I'm going to share on the screen here landing page because I took your advice and I went back and kind of reworked it. And this isn't off topic. It's very aligned with. I know we got just a little bit, but this is good because I at least want to make sure that we leave in a place where you feel like, okay, cool. We can at least move forward with the messaging that's built inside of the CRM, so that come next week, we can already start firing out.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think it's pretty sexy what you already detected. And for example, the reason why it's helpful to backtrack with Amazingly is because Amazingly is a marketplace that has their own products, which that's what they were marketing before. But also they have like 50 plus other products of other brands, high quality brands that also have budget. So the fact that it shows that we don't have product market fit yet, because if we did, Amazingly would be like, yo, I need to introduce you to the owner of Salt and Stone, or I need to introduce you to the owner of XYZ or their marketing manager. That didn't happen.
Yes, so now that's exactly why that's important. It's the same thing with Unilever. We managed to unlock Axe, Vaseline, Shield, Tresemme, man, a whole bunch. They even gave us another brand that they were going to introduce in West Africa. And then we were operating in South Africa, and they're like, can you roll this out for us in West Africa? We had no real footprint in West Africa. So we even had to establish offices to roll out some of the Unilever brands in West Africa because they bought into our strategy and how we do things. So knowing what it is that makes the client and the customers tick, and when they find they've reached satisfaction, is knowing when they introduce you to other people, recommend you to other people, open up all these other brands they're working with. If they don't do that, don't walk away from the conversation without knowing what is it that you didn't do that would have made that possible.
Yes.
You don't have to run them to open and give you the deal, but at least ask them to tell you.
Yeah, and be willing to confront that feedback of like, yo, we are unsatisfied. Because I've also seen that those are opportunities to make things right and build more trust. It's in the wrong one. So yeah, we definitely aligned on that. Let me just get this up on the screen as an exercise. Here we go. Cool.
Excuse me one moment.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm just going to set the screen up. To anyone watching, thank you for your patience. This is why it's nice in the future to have a producer on site. Okay, so now we're going to share that screen. So just again, so for everyone watching, this is a recap. We are doing a CRM workshop for what's called the Gift Run campaign. Gift Run is essentially our soft go-to-market here in Berlin, Germany, where we're showing our operating system that has an app where we're bringing together core user types, brands that get integrated into pop-up events that are led by cultural ambassadors, such as music people, wellness professionals, comedians, politicians, anyone building a community. And then we match them up with spaces, unexpected spaces such as cafes, restaurants, hotels, hostels, museums, airport lounges, so on and so forth. Anywhere, a place that really would benefit from having more foot traffic. And we argue then that we are revitalizing the city, helping people discover the hidden gems, the hidden faces of a city. And right now we're honing in on the brands because they also are the ones that drive the biggest revenue up front. And for this specific campaign, we're doing, let's say, 24 civilian or consumer level events, and then we have a corporate partnership where with one brand, it could be Make, it could be someone else, we're going to do 10 events with them. So we're just working out now what is the actual sales funnel for the brand, and that just means from first point of contact, all of the steps or stages that happen until they become a paid partner in this campaign called Gift Run. So you and I, Patrick, we talked previously. We reviewed the first version I had did of the Gift Run Make partnership proposal. And one of the things that you pointed out was that, number one, because it's a corporate partnership, that will have essentially like their own events that we might want to produce those ourselves so that we can actually better control quality, so on and so forth. And another thing that you pointed out was that it needs to be really clear the outcomes.
Right.
So I led with, so we're going to give them 10 events, which essentially means that there will be 10 pop-up events at 10 different commercial spaces. So this is where 10 new B2B customers comes from. 12 branded events because we will do a kickoff party, like we talked about, make it really social. Music and social interaction marries, it makes the brand stick even more in someone's mind. And then essentially we're giving them like a docu-series where we're showing how the different ambassadors use Make in part of their like stack to promote the event, also the B2B spaces, and we'll essentially do like a workshop. Right?
Yeah.
We should see this probably in an overview. Let's have it shoot the event. So I said to them, you already did it once in Berlin. Here's what happened and what you missed. So they did a campaign with Maria, who's also been very gracious to be a part of essentially what we're doing and introducing us even more into the Make team, since she's already partnered with them. So community event host in the Launch Anyway workshop was about automations. Viral lead magnet workshop, the setup, we go through what worked. 50 plus attendees engaged, high quality audience for freelancers and entrepreneurs. We all got offerandmake.com promo code. I had to use it because of just the way also it was like delivered. It was like, here's a code.
Most people don't. It's like with webinars, most webinars give away these credits if you're using an AI tool of sorts and they say they're trying to sell. Most people don't. So that's also an opportunity. It's like opting into you see a white paper after some kind of Instagram thing and they say, click here and then you'll receive the thing. You'll do the click, you'll receive the thing, you won't read it.
Yeah. I'm one of those freaky people that do read it, but it takes a lot to sit there and get through it and then be like, okay, well, what do I do now? Because usually they're trying to show you, they give you steps of like how you could solve it yourself and you're like, damn, this is a lot of work. Can I just hire you to do it?
Yeah.
So I don't want to miss that point you just made about how there's too much friction for someone to actually use the code.
Yeah.
So if we could solve that, like how do we solve?
I'm curious to see what did you have to do when you attended? Like, do you think they have your data? Have you received any marketing communication?
Not from Make. They used an app called Luma, which is for doing events. It's very popular here in Berlin. And the cool thing I saw with Luma is that the brand can at least partner up. Like we have that feature where in an event you can also see like who the brand is or the other organizers. Mm-hmm. So they have the space, they have the organizer Maria, and they have the brand.
So they have brand, space, and ambassador.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the back end, what I don't see is how it facilitates more value, like
for who in this case?
For Make, for example, for the brand.
Great. So let's unpack that a bit.
Well, Make does know who attended because they were one of the event organizers, so they see everyone that attended. That means they also get our data like
through Luma.
Through Luma. Luma, the app. It's an event app. So I think they solved that one piece of like traceability or like knowing who attended, but that doesn't solve conversion, which is what we're still talking about. Like who converted? If they can see that 50 plus people were at the event,
right?
How many of us converted to a paying customer? I guess they would know later because the code gets used, so they know that code is specific maybe to Maria in this case. Mm. And maybe then if I use the same email when I sign up, then they will be like, okay, that's a match.
Yeah, that's personalized.
But Make has to do that on the back end, like in another tool. That's not inside of Luma.
Luma? Is it Luma or Luma?
Luma.
Okay. I'm looking it up now.
I mean, we have the same challenge before we had the app with the brands. They would give us these cool, oh, it's right here, these cool coupon codes that are just for us, for our event, right?
Yes, I remember these.
But then, when I would ask their marketing manager or CEO, like, how many of these actually converted who used the coupon, well, we don't really know. Like,
so they couldn't even track that. So they give away €10.
Yeah, not tracking.
And no one knows where the money goes.
No. And I'm like, and people were genuinely excited about it. So I'm like, I know that some of my customers from our events became a customer of yours and you're not even able to tell me.
Yeah, see, that's really, right the point that you're writing down, but I want to take this back to what we discussed earlier, or at least what we mentioned earlier, that when you know that the client is not doing something with the data you provide them, it means that they don't have the capabilities, or at least the know-how to do that. And that's where you provide, and you upsell them and so on.
So then, this is where the conversion point happened.
Yes.
I was like, we have either the option to be an agency that can make a shit ton of money from doing just that, helping brands activate on these dead assets. Like that, it's a dead asset until they actually use it. Okay, we can help them with that, or we can have a solution that works at scale in a self-service. And so this is why I started to think through, okay, I've delivered this company now over the past 3 years, more than 2,500 hot leads. They didn't use any of them. Mm-hmm. Okay? So I said, instead of me trying to handhold them and say, okay, you know what, I can offer you a service with a retainer, or it can be even results driven. Let me convert these leads into a paying customer for you, which is time, right? Mm-hmm. And this is before the whole like AI became very apparent about automation. But, so let's circle back to that because there might still be an opportunity of how we can scale that with very little human input. But I was like, okay then, so let's just have a built-in e-commerce store into the event app. That's why I decided that, because I saw that people were not able, they either didn't take advantage of the offer, or when they did, I didn't even know that my customers from my events tapped in with the brand and became a customer. And I don't think it's a matter of them being dishonest. They just weren't tracking it. We didn't set up a system. So that was, the e-commerce store was the solution to that. Because I'm like, okay, if you can have, if let's say with, for example, let's stick with Amazing You. Instead of it being physical, it's inside of our app. Because that's all it really is, right? When I say e-commerce store, it's like, you do the actions to unlock this reward, and now it's in your wallet, inside of their store. And then that store just means you go to that store, you can see products that you can use that on. That free 10, okay? And they can make you another offer. This product usually costs $45, but because you were from a sponsored event, we're going to give you these two products together for $30, and you get to use your 10 euros. But they still, because they know their unit costs, their unit economics, they still made a profit and got a new customer. And then they can upsell them on things later on. So that was the vision behind the integrated e-commerce into the event app. Now, you could also argue then, all right, well, D, why didn't you take those lead lists and convert it for them? I could and should have. Because I could have taken a very big chunk of commission for myself on those first sales. And I'm like, you weren't going to use them anyways. I got you a new customer using your product. So let's split 50-50, right? And then every purchase after that, like they're your customer now. They're inside of your funnel. Whatever you make on them, you keep it or whatever. Like you can sunset, reduce the percentage over time. Because of the tools available, like a Make.com, we could still offer that in a way, you know, but it kind of goes away from our thesis around using the app, keeping it in app. So,
yeah.
You following what I'm saying?
Yeah, so that's the thing right here. Promo code, attribution.
You can scroll through this.
Can I?
Yeah.
Okay. So, there are these things that yeah, okay. Okay, so this is all cool and well, but let's now try to avoid some pitfalls, right? Again, taking some learnings from some bad experiences, right?
Yeah.
With AfroWave, we're looking for ambassadors, so we probably need to, I'm using AfroWave as an example, we probably need to find a better vetting process.
Yeah, so coming up with a better criteria.
Yeah, you said you hadn't done research on praise and so on and so on. So that's a shiny object syndrome, where you see like the potential of a certain event and so on, but then we ignore that it's run by people.
I would say one approach I would take is referrals from people who care a lot about their own personal brand. So, for example, Vagabond Jazz, super professional. Every time I worked with her, it went really great. She has built relationships with really great brands and introduced us to some great people. We've been able to work alongside with like Brave Tea, Lululemon, so on and so forth. If I were to ask her, hey, can you refer me to 5 other ambassadors who you think also deserve an opportunity to do these paid pilots, these pop-up events, who would it be? Me knowing her, she would not recommend anybody who would reflect bad back on her. Yeah. So I think that can be one acquisition strategy, referrals.
So ambassador referral programs then, because and when that's the case, there has to be something in it for the ambassador based off of the selection criteria and so on. It's just the same as what are these people that find jobs for people?
Oh, headhunters.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get like a
Like,
bonus or
if you
of
get
the
as
deal.
a fit, there's budget for you, you know? So there has to be a compounding effect when somebody recommends the right kind of person to avoid having to deal with the unnecessary drama that I talked to you about earlier. So
Yeah, so already having, what does the onboarding look like for them? What is for an ambassador, like, if we're asking an ambassador to give us another ambassador from their network, then we need to already have done the work of defining what do they get out of it.
yes. So
And making it things that we can only deliver, that we actually can deliver.
yeah.
Cool. To have some strong outcomes from today, because we have to probably wrap up here in about 10-15 minutes. How do you use the insights from today? How do you incorporate the insights from today into moving things forward with the CRM.
With CRM?
Mm-hmm.
So the simple thing is this stuff that I wrote here. So what Discover does for brands, because that's the first place I'm gonna start. We need business, right? Brands are the people that are gonna pay, and so on. So the product is very simple. We help brands to activate, attribute, and track users so they can convert into sales.
Oh, that was sexy.
Yeah.
You just freestyled that.
Well, it came from here.
Well, but you just said it in a really simple way. We
Yeah.
help brands.
Yes.
Okay,
We
I
help
want to find
brands,
it.
yeah, to activate, attribute, track, and convert.
Jeez
users
whiz.
into sales.
That's high. Okay.
Yeah. Somebody, like another person, has to be able to say that to another person.
Yeah. Okay. So then,
So that's one. I'm able to say that to a brand.
so we need to have that language integrated into the landing page.
Yes.
So if I understand correctly, next steps. So you have access to the landing page text inside of Asana.
Yeah, I think so.
So-
we can change that.
We need for you to go in there and weigh in. You can comment on that Word doc.
Yeah.
And then either myself or Yapper can get that implemented into the front end.
Yes.
Now, I would say the heaviest lift for you, but it's just repetitive work, not really hard, is setting up the email sequence
Yeah, that's
for each user type. So it was just like, okay, we decided we want it to be 3 or 4 touch points or however many.
I think in the beginning we just need to do brands, spaces, and ambassadors.
Yeah.
And ambassadors, I would have to check if we're able to scrape like Instagram or some LinkedIn or I don't even know where we're gonna find the info. Spaces.
Yeah. Well, it would look like we would likely run an IG ad or a TikTok ad. So it's like, yo, it's like promo based.
Yeah.
What's up? Are you a community builder? Do you get frustrated with the very high fees to be able to rent a venue to host your audience? Do you feel frustrated that it's hard to connect with brands? Maybe you've never even worked with a brand before. Well, we might have a solution for you. We have this new app available that lets you find a space for free and also get sponsored by a brand. We're launching in Berlin. We're doing, let's call it the ambassador program.
Yeah.
We're looking for 12 strong candidates across these categories. If you fit one of them, apply now.
Great.
And then they would arrive to landing page. On landing page, they put in their info, their email, and then that triggers email sequence, and now the fun begins.
Yeah.
So let's set some goals for next week for the CRM. It would be great if, because we also have the PDF creation delegated to Yapper, it would be great if we could have email sequences, just a draft of them for these 3 user types we mentioned, so brands, spaces, ambassadors, set up. Just the first go. And then that way, like midweek, John can help to, or John might even be willing to, hey John, be willing to take the first stab at writing them, like actual sequences.
I mean,
Like you could at least get, like, can do the configuration of the steps. So like inside of Apollo, I'll just go there. We can share a new screen.
and I can just write the stuff, send it to John. We can have a look at it because, and then
Yeah, but I would say even while you're waiting on him to get back to you, what you're able to do is just go ahead and build the architecture of the sequences. So like the steps, even if you don't have the text yet.
I'll
So
draft
that-
the text.
Okay, well, yeah, you draft it and then just have the sequences built, and then that way, once he's giving that feedback to you, all you got to do is just go back into the sequence.
Yeah, I'll schedule it for a later date. And then once he's seen the thing, the stuff will be set up. I can edit it, I can change it, and so on. I keep moving as if this is not moving.
Yeah, so they come along to maybe so we want to go to sequences.
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead. So this is my account.
Yeah, you already have a sequence running?
This is for something else. I think that was like iPhone. So you can click into it.
Well, it's paused.
Yeah, because we're.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but just to the point of like, if you wanted to already just go ahead and set up the steps, so collapse steps. So there's only one step here for this, but yeah, if you wanted to just configure.
I can do the three-step sequence.
Yeah, you can decide if you want other touch points in there, like the LinkedIn interacting with the comments or adding, if it's for a brand or whatever. We have to think through where are all these user types are humans, right? They're humans.
Yes.
So even if a space manager, like we gotta get into their psychology of it. Are they on Facebook, IG, or TikTok? Are they some kind of WhatsApp and Telegram community? And another thing, the part of the campaign is I walk around the city and I leave them a QR code flyer. Probably in German, like one side German, one side English.
Right.
You want to be a part of this? Here's what you get: foot traffic. And then after the gift one campaign is over, then you can continue to use our solution to.
So now that you're saying that, actually I was thinking about this earlier. So Uber Eats, right? And all these home delivery things. I've seen a lot of promoters in train stations trying to give away these things. Nobody, well, I'm not gonna say nobody. I don't take that shit. And many other people just walk past those guys, right? And I believe Uber Eats and whatever other person that's paying for that is paying for that. And that's another way where like the thought came into mind where I'm like, that's actually the same kind of thing where the person that's at the train station giving away these flyers, and he doesn't record that shit. He doesn't care if people take that shit or not. He's still getting paid, right?
Dog, I've stopped them and asked them, how are you measured on your performance?
Yeah.
And they're like, just based upon how many flyers I give away.
So how do you calculate?
I'm like,
that?
you can be doing fraud. You can
you can dump all of them and then say you gave them away.
These companies are throwing away money. They're printing paper, wasting resources. So that's another fascinating use case. Like, let's just fucking digitize that shit.
Yeah, you don't have to print anything. So anyway, I'm using that as part of what you would consider promotions and activations, right? Because if you have somebody handing out flyers, that's promotion, right? Essentially with Uber Eats, the problem is that you can't have people tasting the food.
No, because they're a marketplace.
Yeah, they sell multiple restaurants and so on. So what they are marketing is Uber Eats, and they say you get €10 off your first purchase, right? Which means they're trying to drive at least click, installs, and so on and so on and so on, which doesn't always translate to conversion or downloads, installs, and so on. So that's also, I don't have the answers for this, but I've seen it happen. So in bringing it to amazingly, if somebody gives me this thing, this flyer at an event, that has 10 euro, which maybe might have cost some money. Yeah, these.
But it's why I collect these, bro, because I'm like, we're gonna digitize these.
Yeah.
We're gonna put them right into our app, bro. Like 40% off. But guess what? I've never used it. There's just this is money.
Yeah.
If I was going to be spending it and wanted to be in that platform, but the switching cost for me is too high because I like Volt. So why I'm going to leave Volt to go to DoorDash just because they're giving me 40% off, or why I'm going to order directly from these guys when I'm already paying a monthly or yearly subscription to something like Uber Eats, right? So.
Yeah, something is amiss here. It must be working. I mean, with QR codes and deep linking, you can attribute that to.
True. So if you gave these to Patrick to the street marketing,
yeah,
you can look every month and be like, hey, out of all these you gave out,
you've gotten this kind of. So that's deep linking. Then you can attribute that to a specific QR code that has, some kind of matrix that you can, So ever since we've been doing these, there has been an uptake in installs 60-20%.
Yeah, and they understand their unit economics enough to know that, like, if someone becomes an annual member of, Uber Eats or of DoorDash, then, the math for them works out if they're having to pay someone 15 or 20 an hour, and that person in 1 hour has given out 100 of these flyers, and 10 of those people converted to a paying customer.
Yeah.
But even still, it's labor, coordinating with people, printing of materials. So we still become a viable alternative.
Yeah, I mean, for Berlin probably. I mean, I don't know. But there's something here that we might exploit.
I got my eye on it, so I collect this. Okay, so to bring it home, does it sound realistic then to have a first draft for the user types by the middle of the week, so by Wednesday of next week, so that John can
For the sequences? Yes.
And then that way in the week we can get them implemented and have some plan it by like beginning or middle of week 2. We can start the campaign and the outreach.
Yeah.
Cool. We have a challenge with the CRM, which we hadn't considered. So right now it's associated with the weDISCOVR subscriptions email. We can't use that. You can only use corporate emails to run.
CRMs?
Yeah. So we would, if we, let's log in and log into the subscription. Oh damn, she uses this Bitword thing. I don't know if I'm logged in.
Apparently you have the rights to let us all log in. I couldn't log in.
She does. Because I showed her. Like my Bitword, I don't see any login options. Can you do?
I'm here with us. weDISCOVR subscription.
Yeah, just go to Bitword. So you just copy
This copies the email address. It doesn't copy the password.
Yeah, so you open up Follow, get this launch button, and it's
supposed to be automatic when I do that, and it's supposed to pop up here.
Because you don't have the Bitword plugin.
Which plugin is that?
So you go to click here on this little button. That's the score. Oh, there it is. Yeah, so login. There you go. You gotta set a login. And then once you do that, it will like automatically paste the password to you. Cool. So, John, thank you for watching this. Thank you to also anyone else who might have seen it and got some value from it. If you're seeing this on the daily sales update, the CRM workshop is not us trying to pretend like we know everything about sales engineering. We are just configuring our own in the beginning and learning as we go. He and I both have had our own experiences with building CRMs and working in partnership marketing, so on and so forth. But I feel like we've made some meaningful progress to be able to crystallize our offer to the user types, getting that into the CRM. But it's not, the work doesn't stop there. We have to still get into the streets, go into the streets and talk to the people, build up goodwill, and also on the back end, build some other really important partnerships with some people who really know the space and can activate the city. So we set a start target date for March 1st. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it'll be realistically maybe middle of March or beginning of April, but the point is we want to launch the right way. So whatever date we finally land on is going to be determined by us middle of February, taking a look at how much progress we've made, where we're at, how many venues we have signed up, how many ambassadors we have signed up. Because this also has to, they have to be interested and available, right? So there's a lot of kind of coordination that goes into this, but we're going to make it happen. These are not big events. You know, Patrick, you and I, we've done really, really big events and they've been successful. You've done big campaigns with huge brands. They've been successful. These are 24 pop-up events to show a different use case for a solution. Later this year, we still are doing our go-to-market launch, which is this big event that we started planning called Elevate, which also is essentially a TV series about music culture and hip-hop beats battling. But before we get there, that is why Gift Run campaign Berlin is super, super important, so that we can also get some early reps in and see what needs to be improved in our model before we start to go into bigger markets like the United States later this year. So that's it for now. Patrick, thank you for your time and for your insights. You helped me be able to articulate some things that I had a hard time being able to say. And I would say the biggest insights is we need to go backtrack to previous customers, talk to them about what they were unhappy about, tell them how we've improved since then, and then use it as an opportunity to do more business with them. Clearly define what does success look like for them and make sure that we deliver on that. Expectations versus satisfaction. And then as it pertains to the brands, it's helpful if we talk about not what works right, but what tends to go wrong in event marketing.
We cannot guarantee events, man.
Yeah.
Nobody can ever. There too many moving objects like weather and all that.
So we use that to our advantage.
Yes.
We say we are like your insurance policy. Even if it goes bad, you still have connection to those people, and you still can sell and convert them. And then we also talked about how do we solve friction of users using the offer from the brand. That's probably something more for later on. Ambassador referral program, including how do we incentivize high quality cultural ambassadors to bring on more for the Gift Run campaign. And yeah, top of funnel, your warm intro, info product, or an ad that leads to our landing page, gets them tapped into our email sequence, and all the way down to the bottom of the funnel, which would be for each user type, whatever success metric looks like for the campaign. So that's it. Peace out.